The bullet grazed Seo Joon's shoulder before he even heard the shot. Glass shattered across the marble floor of the charity gala. Screaming erupted like wildfire, and his instincts took over. He moved with practiced precision, shoving the nearest civilian behind a pillar while his hand found the concealed weapon at his hip. His men were already returning fire, their movements synchronized, lethal. This wasn't the first time someone had tried to kill him at a public event, and it wouldn't be the last. The life of a Korean mafia boss came with these occupational hazards. The shooters retreated within 90 seconds. Too fast, too organized. This was an amateur hour. Seo Joon's jaw clenched as he surveyed the chaos, blood trickling warm down his expensive suit. His second-in-command, Minho, appeared at his side, weapon drawn, eyes scanning for threats. "Boss, we need to move you now. Clear the exits first," Seo Joon commanded, his voice cold as winter steel. No civilian casualties. It was then he felt the small impact against his legs. He looked down, every muscle tensing for another attack, and found himself staring at a child. A little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, had collided with him in her panic. Her dark curls were disheveled, her small dress torn at the hem. She looked up at him with wide, terrified eyes. I'm sorry," she whispered, tears streaming down her brown cheeks. "I can't find my mama." Seo Joon opened his mouth to call for Minho to handle the situation, but the words died in his throat. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think, because he was staring into his own eyes. Not similar eyes, not eyes that reminded him of his own. His exact eyes, down to the unusual amber flecks in the dark brown iris, the specific shape, the way they tilted slightly at the outer corners. It was like looking into a mirror that reflected back a younger, innocent version of himself. A version untouched by blood and violence. Time seemed to suspend. The chaos of the gala faded into white noise. His shoulders stopped hurting. Everything narrowed to this one impossible moment. "Boss." Minho's voice came from somewhere distant. Seo Joon lowered himself slowly to one knee, ignoring the fresh stab of pain from his wound. Up close, the resemblance was even more striking. The shape of her face, the set of her jaw, even the way her lower lip trembled, it all triggered memories he'd buried deep. "What's your name?" he asked, his voice uncharacteristically gentle. "Lily," she said, her small voice shaking. "Lily Park." Park. Not his family name, but not uncommon either. The child's accent was American, her features clearly mixed race. And those eyes. Those impossible, undeniable eyes. "Lily." A woman's voice cut through the crowd, sharp with panic. "Lily, where are you?" Seo Joon's heart stopped for an entirely different reason. He knew that voice. It had haunted him for 6 years, echoing through his dreams and his nightmares with equal frequency. He rose slowly, his trained composure barely holding as a woman pushed through the dispersing crowd. Faith. She looked different. Her hair was longer, pulled back in a practical ponytail instead of the loose waves she used to wear. She was thinner, with shadows under her eyes that spoke of sleepless nights and endless worry. But she was still the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. Still the only woman who'd ever made him consider walking away from everything he'd built. Their eyes met across the marble floor. He watched the color drain from her face, watched her steps falter. Recognition, shock, and something that looked dangerously close to terror flickered across her features in rapid succession. "Mama!" Lily ran to her, and Faith caught her daughter in her arms, holding her tight while never breaking eye contact with Seo Joon. "Daughter." The words settled into his chest like a blade. "We're leaving," Faith said, her voice trembling but firm. "Right now." "Faith." Seo Joon took a step forward. "Don't." She backed away, Lily still clutched against her chest. "Don't you dare." His men had formed a protective semicircle around him, weapons still drawn, but Seo Joon barely noticed them. 6 years of questions, of wondering why she'd disappeared without a word, of searching for her across 3 continents, all crystallized into this single, devastating moment. "How old is she?" The question came out hoarse. Faith's expression hardened into something defensive, protective. "That's none of your business." "Faith, how old?" "She just turned 6, Lily volunteered innocently, peeking out from her mother's embrace. "I had a birthday party with a princess cake." Before the story continues, kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel, like the video, comment, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the conclusion of this story and more intense stories like this. 6 years. The timeline aligned perfectly with when Faith had vanished from his life. She'd left Seoul without warning, blocked his number, refused to see him when he'd shown up at her apartment to find it empty. He'd thought maybe he'd pushed too hard, moved too fast. He'd thought maybe she'd finally realized what he was, what he represented, and made the smart choice to run. He'd never considered this. Never imagined this possibility. Minho touched his arm carefully. "Boss, we need to go. The police will be here soon, and with your shoulder. Find out everything," Seo Joon said quietly, his eyes still locked on Faith's terrified face. "Where they live, where she works, everything." "Boss." "Everything, Minho. By tomorrow morning." Faith was already backing toward the exit, Lily's small hand clutched in hers. Seo Joon didn't try to stop them. Not yet. Not until he knew for certain. But as he watched them disappear into the night, he felt something shift inside his chest. Something he hadn't felt in years, maybe ever. It took him a moment to recognize it. Fear. Not of bullets or rival gangs or federal investigations. Fear of what this meant. Fear of what he'd lost. Fear of what he'd never known he had. That was the moment Seo Joon realized the past hadn't just found him. It had been living and breathing and growing for 6 years without him. The clock on Seo Joon's office wall read 3:47 in the morning, but he hadn't even considered sleep. He sat behind his mahogany desk, the gunshot wound on his shoulder professionally bandaged and throbbing, staring at the folder Minho had delivered an hour ago. Inside were photographs, documents, and a truth he wasn't sure he was ready to face. Faith Mitchell, age 31, resident of a modest apartment in the Gangnam district, though not the luxurious part. She worked 2 jobs, one as a translator for a small import company, another teaching English 3 evenings a week. She'd returned to Korea only 8 months ago. Before that, she'd been in the United States, specifically Georgia, working various jobs while raising a daughter alone. Lily Faith Park, age 6, enrolled in an international elementary school on scholarship. Bright student, according to the school records Minho had somehow acquired. Loved art class, had her mother's smile and her father's eyes. Seo Joon's hands trembled as he picked up one of the photographs. It showed Faith picking Lily up from school, the little girl's backpack nearly as big as she was. They were laughing about something, their faces close together, and the pure joy in that captured moment felt like a knife twisting in his gut. He'd missed 6 years. 6 birthdays. First words. First steps. Every milestone a father should witness, gone like smoke. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered to the empty office. But he knew why. He knew exactly why. He remembered their last real conversation, the night before she disappeared. They'd been lying in bed in his private apartment, the one nobody else knew about, the one place he could pretend to be just a man instead of a monster. "What happens when your world catches up to us?" Faith had asked, tracing patterns on his chest. "What happens when being with you puts a target on my back?" "I'll protect you," he'd promised. "Nobody will touch you." "You can't promise that. Nobody's untouchable in your world, Seo Joon. Not even you." He'd dismissed her concerns then, arrogant in his power and position. He'd thought love would be enough. He'd thought wanting something badly enough meant he could have it. Consequences be damned. She'd proven him wrong by disappearing. And now he understood. She hadn't been protecting herself. She'd been protecting their child. A knock on his door interrupted his spiraling thoughts. Minho entered without waiting for permission, his face grave. "We have a problem." "What kind of problem?" "The Huang family knows." "About the girl." Ice flooded Seo Joon's veins. The Huang family had been his primary rivals for 3 years, always probing for weaknesses, always looking for leverage. If they knew about Lily, if they suspected she was his daughter, how much do they know? Just that you had an interaction with a woman and child at the gala. That you seemed unusually interested. They're investigating. Minho paused. "Boss, if they confirm the connection, they'll use her. You know they will." Seo Joon was already reaching for his phone. "Get a security team to Faith's apartment. Discreet, but thorough. Nobody gets close to them." "Already done. I had them in place an hour ago." This was why Minho was his second in command. The man anticipated needs before they were spoken. "I need to talk to her," Seo Joon said, standing despite the protest from his injured shoulder. "Tonight. She won't want to see you. I don't care what she wants. Our daughter is in danger because of me. She needs to know." The drive to Faith's apartment building felt both too long and too short. Seo Joon sat in the back of his armored sedan, watching Seoul's late-night streets blur past, trying to organize his thoughts into something coherent. What did he even say to her? Sorry, I'm the reason our daughter might become a target? Sorry, I didn't know you existed until yesterday? Sorry, I'm exactly the monster you were running from? Her building was unremarkable, sandwiched between a convenience store and a dry cleaner. His security team had already secured the perimeter, invisible to casual observers, but present nonetheless. Seo Joon climbed the stairs to the fourth floor, each step feeling heavier than the last. He knocked softly on apartment 403. No answer. He knocked again, harder. Go away. Faith's voice came through the door, tight with tension. I know you're out there. Just go away. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Faith, please. It's about Lily's safety. A long pause. Then the sound of locks disengaging. The door opened just enough for him to see Faith's face, exhausted and frightened in the dim hallway light. What do you mean? Her safety? Can I come in? No. Faith. You don't get to show up here and make demands, Seo Joon. You don't get to be in our lives just because you found out she exists. The words stung because they were fair. There are people who might try to hurt her to get to me. I need to make sure she's protected. Faith's laugh was bitter, broken. This is exactly what I was afraid of. This is exactly why I left. I know, and you were right to leave. But running isn't an option anymore. They've already noticed her. Noticed you. The only way to keep her safe now is to let me help. Your help is what makes her unsafe in the first place. I know that too. Seo Joon forced himself to meet her eyes. I know I'm the danger, but I'm also the only one who can protect her from the other dangers. Please, Faith, let me do this one thing right. Faith's composure cracked. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she gripped the doorframe. I spent 6 years keeping her away from your world. 6 years building a life where she could be normal, be safe. And in one night, one chance meeting, it all falls apart. She's my daughter. The words felt strange on his tongue, foreign and familiar at once. Isn't she? Faith's silence was answer enough. I'm her father, and I didn't know she existed. That's on you. His voice hardened despite his best intentions. You kept her from me. I kept her alive. Faith shot back, anger overriding fear. Do you know how many news articles I've read about people in your life ending up dead? Your enemies, your allies, women you've been seen with? I wasn't going to let my baby become a casualty of your war. So you decided I didn't deserve to even know she existed? Seo Joon's voice dropped to something dangerous, the carefully controlled fury he usually reserved for his enemies. You made that choice for both of us. Yes, I did. Faith's chin lifted, defiant even through her tears. And I'd make it again. Every single time. They stared at each other across the threshold, 6 years of silence and pain crackling between them like electricity. Seo Joon wanted to rage at her, wanted to demand answers, wanted to force his way into the apartment and see his daughter sleeping peacefully in whatever room she called her own. But he saw the terror barely concealed beneath Faith's anger, and something in him softened. I'm not here to fight with you, he said quietly. I'm here because whether you like it or not, Lily is in danger now. My rivals know I showed interest in a woman and child. They're investigating. When they confirm the connection, and they will, they'll use her as leverage against me. Faith's face went pale. Oh God, let me put protection on you. Both of you. Discreet but effective. You won't even know they're there. I'll know they're there, Seo Joon. And eventually, Lily will too. She's smart. She asks questions. Faith's voice broke. She's been asking about you since the gala. She said the man with the matching eyes looked sad. Something twisted in Seo Joon's chest. What did you tell her? Nothing. What could I tell her? That her father is a gangster who kills people for a living? That he's the reason we had to hide for 6 years? I've never killed anyone who didn't deserve it. And who decides who deserves it, Seo Joon? You. Faith shook her head. This is pointless. We're leaving. I'll take her somewhere you can't find us. Somewhere your enemies can't find us. There is nowhere on this earth I can't find you. I spent 3 years searching before. I'll find you in 3 days now that I know what I'm looking for. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. And if I can find you, so can they. You can't run from this, Faith. The only way forward is through. A small voice interrupted them. Mama? Why are you crying? Both adults froze. Lily stood in the hallway behind Faith, rubbing sleep from her eyes, her hair wild from her pillow. She wore pajamas covered in cartoon stars and clutched a stuffed rabbit against her chest. When she saw Seo Joon, her eyes widened with recognition. It's the man from the party. The one with my eyes. Faith immediately moved to block Lily's view, but the girl was already padding forward, curious and unafraid in the way only children could be. Lily, go back to bed, sweetheart. But Mama. Now, Lily. Seo Joon found himself kneeling again, the same position he'd taken at the gala, bringing himself to his daughter's eye level. This close, in better light, he could see even more of himself in her features. The stubborn set of her jaw, the way her eyebrows drew together when she was thinking. But she had Faith's smile, Faith's warmth, Faith's openness. She was the best of both of them, untainted by the violence that had shaped his life. Hello, Lily, he said softly. Hello, mister. Does your shoulder still hurt? I saw you got shot. Her casual mention of the shooting made Faith gasp, but Seo Joon felt an unexpected smile tug at his lips. It hurts a little, but I've had worse. That's sad. Getting hurt a lot is sad. She tilted her head, studying him with unnerving intensity. Why do you look like me? Lily bed. Now. Faith's voice was firm, maternal authority overriding everything else. But Mama. Now. Lily's lower lip trembled, but she obeyed, shuffling back down the hallway with one last curious glance over her shoulder. Seo Joon watched her go, memorizing every detail. The way she walked, the sound of her voice, the fact that she'd been concerned about his injury. When her bedroom door closed, Faith turned back to him with fresh tears streaming down her face. You can't do this. You can't just appear in her life and confuse her. I'm not trying to confuse her. I'm trying to protect her. By existing in her world, your protection is what endangers her. Don't you understand that? Then what do you want me to do, Faith? Pretend I never saw her? Pretend I don't know I have a daughter? Walk away while my enemies close in. His voice rose despite his efforts to control it. Tell me what you want me to do. I want you to let us disappear. I want you to tell your rivals she means nothing to you. I want you to give us a chance at a normal life. It's too late for that. The moment they saw my face at that gala, the moment they saw how I looked at her, it was too late. Seo Joon ran a hand through his hair, frustration bleeding into every movement. The only choice now is whether she faces this danger with my protection or without it. Faith sagged against the doorframe, the fight draining out of her. I hate you for this. I hate that you're right. I know. I hate that 6 years of running was for nothing. I know. I hate that she's going to find out what kind of man her father is. That one hurt worse than the gunshot wound. I know that too. They stood in heavy silence, the weight of impossible choices pressing down on both of them. Finally, Faith wiped her eyes and straightened her shoulders. Fine. Put your security in place. But they stay invisible. And you? She met his eyes with something like steel in her gaze. You stay away from her. You don't get to be her father just because biology says so. You have to earn that, Seo Joon. And I don't think you can. The words were meant to wound, and they succeeded. But Seo Joon simply nodded. I'll stay away. For now. But Faith? I'm going to earn it. Whatever it takes, however long it takes, I'm going to be worthy of being her father. We'll see. Faith started to close the door, then paused. Seo Joon? Despite everything, despite all of this, thank you for the warning. For caring enough to warn us. The door closed softly, locks engaging one by one. Seo Joon stood in the empty hallway for a long moment, staring at the scuffed paint of apartment 403 before turning and walking back down the stairs. The next 2 weeks passed in a state of carefully orchestrated tension. Seo Joon kept his word and stayed away from Faith's apartment, but his security team reported to him twice daily. Lily went to school. Faith went to work. They maintained their routines while invisible guardians tracked their every movement, watching for threats that felt increasingly inevitable. Seo Joon threw himself into his work with renewed intensity, trying to distract himself from the constant urge to drive across the city and see his daughter again. He attended meetings with distributors, resolved territorial disputes, handled the endless bureaucracy of organized crime. But late at night, alone in his office, he found himself staring at the photographs Minho had compiled. Lily at the playground. Lily walking home from school, her hand tight in her mother's. Lily laughing at something Faith had said, her whole face lighting up with joy. He was missing her life even while watching it unfold in snapshots. You're distracted, Minho observed during a meeting with their accountants. Everyone's noticed. I'm fine. The Huang family is getting bolder. They hit 2 of our warehouses last week. They're testing you, seeing if you'll respond with your usual efficiency. Minho's voice dropped lower. They think you're weak right now. They think they've found your pressure point. Have they confirmed anything about Lily? Not yet, but they're close. Their people have been watching the apartment building. Minho hesitated. Boss, maybe it's time to consider more aggressive protection. Move them to a secure location. Somewhere we control completely. Faith would never agree to that. Faith might not have a choice soon. Seo Joon's phone buzzed before he could respond. An unknown number. His jaw clenched as he answered, already knowing this wouldn't be good news. Mr. Seo. The voice was male, smooth, mockingly polite. I hope I'm not interrupting anything important. Seo Joon recognized the voice immediately. Huang Taesung, the current head of the Huang family. Young, ambitious, and ruthless in ways that made even Seo Joon seem measured by comparison. What do you want, Huang? Just to chat. About family, actually. I hear you've developed some interesting connections recently. A woman and a child, if my information is correct. Every muscle in Seo Joon's body tensed. You're fishing, and you're wasting my time. Am I? Because my sources tell me you've had round-the-clock security on a certain apartment in Gangnam for 2 weeks now. That seems like excessive attention for someone who means nothing to you. Lots of people deserve protection. Absolutely. Although usually not the kind of protection you provide. Usually, people you care about end up dead. Huang's voice hardened. Like your brother. How long did he last after everyone knew he was your weakness? 6 months. Seo Joon's free hand clenched into a fist. His younger brother had been collateral damage in a gang war 5 years ago, killed because someone wanted to hurt Seo Joon where he was vulnerable. It was the last time he'd let anyone get close enough to matter. Until Faith. Until Lily. Get to the point. The point is that I'm a generous man. I'm willing to make you an offer. You step aside. Let me absorb your territories and operations peacefully, and I guarantee that your new little family stays safe. Untouched. You can even visit them sometimes, if you'd like. Play the doting father role. And if I refuse, then I stop guaranteeing their safety. In fact, I might actively threaten it. Children are so fragile, Mr. Seo. So easy to hurt. So easy to make disappear. The rage that flooded through Seo Joon was white-hot, all-consuming. It took every ounce of his control not to make threats he'd have to follow through on immediately. You touch her, and there won't be a place on this earth you can hide. So she is yours. Good to have that confirmed. Huang laughed, the sound grating. You have 48 hours to consider my offer. After that, well, accidents happen. Especially to little girls who wander too far from their mothers. The line went dead. Minho was already on his feet, phone in hand, barking orders to their security teams. Seo Joon sat frozen for 3 heartbeats, his mind racing through scenarios and contingencies. Then he was moving, grabbing his jacket, his weapon, his keys. Where are you going? Minho demanded. To get them. Both of them. I'm moving them to the safe house tonight. Faith won't agree. Faith doesn't get a choice anymore. Huang just declared war, and my daughter is on the battlefield. Seo Joon was already halfway to the door. Double the security around the apartment until I get there. And Minho? If anyone from the Huang family gets within 100 meters of them, kill them. The drive across Seoul was the longest 20 minutes of Seo Joon's life. He kept his phone pressed to his ear, listening to the security team's updates, his heart hammering every time there was a pause in communication. Everything was fine. The perimeter was secure. No suspicious activity. Faith and Lily were inside the apartment, safe for now. But for now wasn't good enough anymore. He took the stairs 3 at a time, his shoulder wound protesting but ignored. He pounded on Faith's door with enough force to rattle the frame. Faith, open up. Now. Go away, Seo Joon. We had a deal. The deal's changed. Open the door, or I'm breaking it down. A pause. Then locks clicking. Faith appeared, fury written across every line of her face. You can't just. The Huang family knows about Lily. Their boss just called me and threatened her directly. We're out of time. Seo Joon pushed past her into the apartment, his eyes scanning for threats even though his team had already cleared it. Pack whatever you absolutely need. We're leaving in 10 minutes. You can't be serious. We're not going anywhere with you. Faith, listen to me very carefully. Seo Joon turned to face her, and she must have seen something in his expression because she took an involuntary step back. A man just told me that accidents happen to little girls. He gave me 48 hours to surrender everything I've built, or he's coming after our daughter. So yes, you're coming with me. Tonight. Right now. And you can hate me for it later, but at least you'll both be alive to hate me. The color drained from Faith's face. Oh God. Oh God, this is really happening. Mama. Lily appeared in the hallway again, her stuffed rabbit clutched tight. What's wrong? Why is everyone yelling? Faith immediately composed herself, that automatic maternal instinct to shield her child from fear. Nothing, baby. We're going to take a little trip. An adventure. Right now? But it's nighttime. Sometimes the best adventures happen at night. Faith's voice wavered only slightly. She turned to Seo Joon, and he saw the exact moment she surrendered, the moment survival instinct overrode everything else. Give me 15 minutes. I need to pack her medication, her clothes. 10 minutes. And only essentials. Seo Joon's phone buzzed. A text from Minho. 2 suspicious vehicles circling the block. Might be reconnaissance. They were out of time. Faith, 5 minutes. Whatever you can grab in 5 minutes. We need to move now. She must have heard the urgency in his voice because she didn't argue. She simply grabbed Lily's hand and rushed toward the bedrooms. Seo Joon positioned himself by the window, watching the street below while listening to the frantic sounds of packing. He could see his security team's vehicles, strategically positioned. Could see the 2 cars Minho had mentioned, dark sedans that circled the block once, twice, then parked across the street. Watching. Waiting. His phone rang. Minho again. Boss, we've got a problem. 3 more vehicles just arrived. They're staging for something. How long until they move? Minutes. Maybe less. Seo Joon strode to the bedrooms. Faith had thrown clothes into a small suitcase while Lily sat on the bed, confusion and fear warring on her small face. We're leaving now. Forget the rest. But I need her. Now, Faith. Something in his tone must have conveyed the severity because Faith grabbed the suitcase and Lily's hand without further protest. They moved quickly to the apartment door, Seo Joon leading, his weapon drawn and held low where Lily couldn't see it. The hallway was empty, the stairs clear, but Seo Joon's instincts screamed danger with every step. They emerged into the building's small lobby just as the first gunshot shattered the front window. Faith screamed. Seo Joon grabbed them both, shoving them behind the concrete stairwell wall as bullets tore through the lobby. Glass rained down like deadly snow. His security team returned fire immediately, the night erupting into chaos and violence. Stay down. Seo Joon barked, his body shielding both Faith and Lily. He returned fire through the broken window, driving back 2 attackers who tried to enter. His phone was pressed between his ear and shoulder. Minho, I need extraction now. 30 seconds. Back in trance. 30 seconds might as well have been 30 years. The attackers were relentless, professional. This wasn't meant to be a kidnapping. This was an execution, a message written in blood. Huang had decided that killing Lily was more valuable than using her as leverage. Listen to me very carefully, Seo Joon said to Faith, his voice cutting through her panic. When I say run, you take Lily and go straight through that door to your left. My men will meet you. Don't stop. Don't look back. Do you understand? Seo Joon. Do you understand? Yes. Her voice shook but held firm. Mama, I'm scared, Lily whimpered, her small body trembling. I know, baby. I know. But we're going to be okay. Faith met Seo Joon's eyes over their daughter's head, and in that moment, 6 years of anger and resentment fell away. They were just 2 parents trying to protect their child. We're going to be okay, right? I promise, Seo Joon said, and meant it with every fiber of his being. His security team laid down suppressing fire. Minho's voice crackled through the phone. Clear. Go now. Run. Faith grabbed Lily and bolted. Seo Joon provided cover fire, his shots precise and lethal. 2 attackers fell. A third took cover. The hallway leading to the back entrance seemed impossibly long, but Faith ran like her life depended on it. Like Lily's life depended on it. Because it did. They burst through the back door into the alley where Minho waited with an armored SUV, engine running. Seo Joon was right behind them, slamming the door shut as bullets pinged off the reinforced metal. Minho floored it, tires squealing as they rocketed out of the alley and into Seoul's late-night traffic. For several minutes, nobody spoke. Faith held Lily tight, both of them shaking. Seo Joon reloaded his weapon with practiced efficiency, his eyes scanning for pursuit. Minho drove with controlled aggression, taking random turns, doubling back, using every counter-surveillance technique in the book. Finally, Lily's small voice broke the silence. "Are the bad men gone?" "Yes, sweetheart," Faith whispered. "They're gone. Why did they want to hurt us?" Faith looked helplessly at Seo Joon. "How did you explain organized crime to a 6-year-old? How did you tell your daughter that she was targeted because of who her father was?" Seo Joon holstered his weapon and turned in his seat to face them. Lily was staring at him with those eyes, his eyes, full of fear, but also something else. Trust, maybe. Or hope that this stranger who kept appearing would somehow make things right. "Because of me," he said quietly. "They wanted to hurt you because I care about you. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "You care about us?" Lily asked, her voice so small it broke his heart. "Very much. But we just met you." "I know. And that's my fault too. But I'm going to fix it. I'm going to keep you safe. Both of you. No matter what it costs." The safe house was 2 hours outside Seoul, a fortress disguised as a rural estate. High walls, sophisticated security systems, and enough armed guards to repel a small army. Minho had used it during previous gang wars, when key personnel needed to disappear until the violence subsided. Faith and Lily were shown to a bedroom suite, while Seo Joon coordinated with his remaining forces. The attack had been brutal, but not unexpected. The Huang family had shown their hand, declared war openly. Now it was simply a matter of who would survive. But Seo Joon's priorities had shifted dramatically. For the first time in his life, something mattered more than power, more than territory, more than pride. He found Faith standing on the bedroom balcony an hour later, staring out at the dark countryside. Lily was finally asleep, exhausted from fear and adrenaline. "I'm sorry," he said again, the words inadequate but necessary. "Sorry doesn't fix this. I know, but it's all I have right now." He moved to stand beside her, careful to maintain distance. "I'm going to end this, Faith. The Huang family, the threat, all of it. And then what? You go back to being a gangster? Back to the life that caused this in the first place." To enjoy more stories, kindly subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, comment, and turn on notifications so you don't miss more intense stories like this.